What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the After Effects podcast. I'm your host, LeBron Stephen, but you can call me LBZ, L Boogie, Big Brian, B Ron, Bronny, LB, whatever you choose. Welcome to episode 38. We have a very special guest. Y'all see me. I'm all suited and booted. You know what I'm saying? I try to throw a little sauce on it. We have our first lawyer as a guest. Terence Pryor is on the show today. Development ops analyst at General Motors. However, he just passed the Georgia bar exam literally a few days ago. Official tissue, officially a lawyer. So super, uber excited to have him on. He is a Chicago native, grew up in Shot City. So super, uber excited to hear about his journey and catch his after effects. So I just sent him the link. So just waiting for him to jump on and we will go in. Pryor Esquire.
Oh man, what's up, man?
Hey, what's good with you, bro?
All right, man. Yeah, T Pryor Esquire. Got a ring to it, man. Got a little ring to it.
Hey, I was just thinking that coming back from my workout, that's the first thing I said. Like, man, that actually sound dope.
right. I was like, okay, I can go somewhere with this one. I can do something with this one.
Hey, bro. Yeah, definitely. T-shirts for sure. Some merch. Get some merch production.
See, you already had me. I wasn't even thinking about that. I ain't thinking about put that on the T-shirt.
I just want to say you a salute, man. Congrats on passing the bar. That's amazing, especially how you did it and just you grinded it out. And of course, us black men, us black people, we are always at a disadvantage, man. So I was want to salute you and so show you that love before we even get this thing started.
For sure, bro. I appreciate it, man. It was tough, man. It was tough, bro. But you know how we do, man. We just put our head down and keep grinding.
Hey,
if there's one thing Iowa told us, it taught us that.
You know that, man. So yeah, man. So tell me, so what's next? I know you've been an analyst at General Motors for a while. I know you got your master's at Clark Atlanta, but since you passed the bar, what's next? Will you just be doing individual contracts, or just kind of go at your own pace?
Yeah, so I excuse my dog in the background, man.
It's okay,
crazy, man. But yeah, man. So what's next? Well, what I've been trying to do, man, is transition over to the legal department at General Motors.
Okay.
So I've been talking to a few of their attorneys there, and typically, just to give you and everyone else a background, typically what happens is when you come out of law school, it's almost like football, right? Like if you don't go to a D1 school, then you ain't getting drafted to the league. It's gonna be real hard to get drafted to the league. So in-house counsel is what you would consider the league of lawyers. Like, man, if I can get to a company, working at a company, and the company is a Fortune 5 company, and I can work with them, it's I made it, right? But what they want you to do is they want you to go to a firm prior to going to in-house counsel. The firm is like D1 college or whatnot. So what they told me is that they don't typically hire fresh out of law school. They want you to go to a firm to get some experience and then come in. But my plans are to work with the in-house counsel at General Motors, since I've been at the company now for 6 years, transition to their legal team, start to build and learn how to practice law, and then continue on to get involved in sports law and electronic sports law from that area. And then eventually get into politics, bro. Eventually get into politics. So that's my long-term goal.
Hey, you on your way, and I can tell how you was able to list all those things out. That I'm sure you written those things down, and made these sub goals, made these long-term goals, and just bang, like not knocking them off the chart.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, we got to, bro. Like, to me, give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no worries.
My charger came out now. I wanted to die on this.
No worries.
Yeah, man. To me, that's how you do it, bro. You bring things into fruition when you take it from the mental, the realm of the spiritual. That's how I think of it. When you take it from your head and you write it down onto a piece of paper and make it physical, right? Now you've literally taken something from a realm that no one else can see other than you, and you put it into this physical world that everybody can see. So the first step is writing it down, and then, like you said, just trying to knock them off.
I'm telling you, one step at a time. That's so powerful. The power in writing things down. I've been journaling and writing things down since 2016, and everything that I've been writing down. It's funny. I do a vision board every New Year's Eve. Like, so on the 31st, I do a vision board for the next year. And I was looking at my vision board that I made for 2020. And obviously, a lot of us haven't accomplished all of our goals because 2020 has been the weirdest year. We've never seen the world shut down. We've had to pivot in so many different ways.
Right.
But out of 9 goals that I wrote, that I had written down, I still accomplished like 7 of them, like 7 out of 9, which is a solid percentage. But it's just the power of writing things down. And I was looking at the board. I was like, wow, like that really still happened. That still happened. That still happened. That still happened. I had wrote down, I was going to call this podcast the alternate athlete show. that was my first name, and of course I changed it to a better name.
Yeah.
But
I like the new name.
Yeah. Right. It's so funny when you're coming up with names, but I wrote that down and I said if I can at least just do 3 episodes just to get my feet wet, just to try to figure out the podcast game and the podcast space and how to move and how to market and stuff like that. And it's crazy. We at the end of the year, and I'm almost at 40 episodes, bro. So, but again, I wrote it down. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I had the idea, and I wrote it down, and it happened. So it's powerful, like you said, just writing things down, and look what you're doing, everything that you're writing down as well. So for our listeners, our viewers, man, it's powerful. You can write it down. That's the first thing you do.
Right, that's the first step. It really is. People be like, "Well, how I get started? How I do it?" That's it. Write it down. No one knows. Like, okay, how am I gonna get this started? Like, I got this grand scheme, man. You can't. If you talk to anybody that you idolize or that you look and say, man, they made it. Jay-Z or whoever. I guarantee you, they started by saying, man, I had a vision and I wrote it down. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it just goes from there. You figure it out step by step. Yeah.
Step by step. I'm telling you, man. So. Before I dive into like current events in your childhood and things like that, I heard you reference esports. So that's something that I've been researching as well. What kind of what sparked that idea to get into the legal side of esports for you?
Yeah, man. So when I looked at because I'll be real with you. When I first started law school, it was kind of like what you said, right? It was like I had this. I knew something was pulling me to go to law school. Because when I finished, I'll say this, bro. Let me backtrack a little bit. When we this is the After Effect podcast. We're talking about former athletes and what they're doing now. And one of the things that is a huge unspoken, unheard of issue with athletes is the what is next, right? Like, and I'm sure that's exactly what you did this whole podcast for us.
That was literally the whole ethos of why, because I felt like that transition is minimized. A relationship that we've had for 20 plus years of playing whatever sport we play, when it's over, one, it's out of our control. Like we can't control anyone's silence. When it's over, it's over, and we're just supposed to accept that and transition to just getting the job and no one, and we're just supposed to accept that, and that transition is very, very hard. I know countless numbers of guys where that transition had him in a dark space, and I was in a dark space because I couldn't figure it out. And also, you're dealing with the emotions of feeling like you underachieved, you didn't make it to the NFL, you didn't get to the highest level, and we're competitors, we're hard on ourselves, right? So feeling like that underachieved, but still trying to figure out life all at the same time. It's so hard to do. It's
for real.
It's such a hard journey.
Yeah, and like you said, bro, no one talks about it. And to me, it was kind of that. And I don't care who you are, bro. You could be Terence Pryor, right? Who was a walk-on at the University of Iowa, might have played 2 games, right? You know what I'm saying? At the fourth quarter when we was blowing about 50 to 0. Right. Or you could be Tom Brady, right? And you could be like, okay, when this is done, who am I? Like what do I bring to the world, right? And it's supposed to be this and I'll sum it up to you like this: what you just said, that you're supposed to come in, you're supposed to be living life, just go to this life. It's to me, it was kind of like I'm just supposed to be regular now. You know what I mean?
I'm just a regular person now.
Right, like I'm a joke. Like, because honestly, we've been put on pedestals our entire life.
I'm telling you, from being an athlete, yes.
Yep, and we say, okay, well, bro, I got to knock it out. Like even when I made it to Iowa, I remember my coach looked me in my eye, and I respected the man, a lot. But he looked me in my eye and said, bro, you'll never play Division I college football, right? And I was like, I appreciate your opinion, but you're not gonna tell me what I'm not gonna do. And I went on and walked on to the team in Iowa, right?
Right.
But then at a certain point, it was like, yeah, no, this is done.
and that is the difference that I think gets lost in translation, right? Like you said, you brought up Tom Brady. Tom Brady, 20 years in the league, 6 Super Bowl rings. He's able to have the capital and the resources. He's already carving out a lane for himself outside of football. He got the TB12 mantra and the organization and the company going, doing fitness products and things like that. So you kind of already know what he's going to segue into next, right? But for people like us, when we're 23, 24, 25, we're still super young, and that happens. We don't have any resources. We don't have anything to pull from to figure out who we are outside of football. It's forced on us like, hey, okay, it's over. Go figure it out. Football is over. You're never going to put a helmet on again. Go. What do you like doing now? And then it's like, you feel alone because you don't know who you are outside of football. You don't know what interests you have. You got to figure that out on your own. And that's what was so hard for me.
Like, it's tough, bro. It truly is, man. And that's why. So to kind of get to what you had asked me, I know I went on for a completely different tangent.
Oh yes, it's all good.
to get what you had asked me to, that was what kind of pushed me to this area in the beginning of law. I was like, well, damn, like I'm done with sports. I love sports. What am I gonna do next? Like, well, what? Who am I? What's gonna define me, right? And the first and foremost at that period of time, I had to start building a spiritual relationship with God, right? I had to start building a spiritual relationship with God to try to figure out that, my confidence, which I was solely the source of at one point in time, right, had to be broken down, which it was, right? It had broke all the way down, and I had to build it up knowing that my source of confidence wasn't me anymore. It was my God and what I knew He had.
Oh man, absolutely.
And still for me, right? So so that was that. But what I started figuring out was like, well, I love sports, bro. I still want to be in the sports, and how am I going to do that? First thing that came to me was like, well, I could be a sports agent, right? So I was like, okay, well, if I want to be a sports agent, what's going to be the best way for me to stay relevant as a sports agent? Well, you can go learn the law, right? If you learn the law and you have a sports background, then you're going to be you're going to stand out from a lot of other people because one, you have that actual knowledge of playing at Division I college sports, and then two, you have the knowledge of being a lawyer. So I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be perfect. That'd be the perfect move. Right, so that's why I started law school. And what happens when you start law school is that you learn that how you begin, it may stay the same. Your ultimate goal may stay the same, but how you achieve it might become different. So prior to me starting law school, I had gotten a job in IT at General Motors, just because I needed something. I needed something to kind of help carry me over. I had to finish school. Didn't have no money, and my loans were running out. And I was blessed to get in GM IT. So, and I had no IT background, and I had learned a lot about just technology and IT and things like that. And I started the same year I started law school. So if you could think about this, I'm learning tech and law all at the same time.
It don't get better than that.
Yeah, it was legit, bro. And it was not me. All this was God. I had no IT background, and I didn't even know I wanted to go to law school until like 3 weeks before the LSAT, right? So
wow.
I'm learning tech, I'm learning law, I'm learning tech, I'm learning law all at the same time. And then one time I meet one of my professors, and she has this event where it's talking about entertainment, sports, and law. So I'm like, okay, let me go there. I volunteer for it. And they had a section where it was like esports. It's this emerging thing. We got Madden tournaments and this and another. And I started thinking, bro, like we play sports like games all day. Like, and we compete all day. And it clicked on me, bro. It was like esports is the perfect mix between sports, technology, and law.
It's literally where those three entities come together and coexist in the same space. Yeah.
Yep. And that's exactly what it was. All three of those things were the perfect merge, like you said, where they coexist perfectly. And I was like, oh yeah, that's it. I got tech background, sports background, and a law background. Well, why not?
Wow. Yeah, let me ask you this, bro. Was it all these last few years, has it been hard to absorb all this new information from the tech side and the law side? How are you able to balance absorbing well, first learning, hearing and learning all this new information from law on the law side and the tech side, and then being able to absorb it to the point where you're knowledgeable about it. Was that? I'm sure that was tough. I know that was kind of like a hard feat to do.
Man, that was exhausting, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because honestly, man, I was learning almost 24/7. Like I was learning, like this is what my day would be, right? I would get up 7 o'clock, be out the door about 8 o'clock, be at work about 9, between 9 and 10. I would work from like 9:30, 10 o'clock to like 4 o'clock. I leave my job at 4 o'clock. Thank God for my team. They were so cool, bro. I would leave my job at 4 o'clock, and I worked in Roswell. I would drive from Roswell downtown Atlanta, at least 3 days out the week, sitting in Atlanta traffic, get there about 5:30, be in class from 6 to like 10. You know what I'm saying? I would do that like I said, 3 days out the week. And it was a grind, bro.
That grind is real.
Yeah, it was a grind, bro, and it was really tough because I was constantly learning about tech, right? I had to learn, okay, well, what is this new language? And I think of them like this: technology in itself is a language, and law in itself is a language. And so I was learning two different languages at the same time. So, one of the ways that I had to do it, man, I had to and I was never really great at time management, but I had to force myself to be better at time management. One of the ways I had to do is I said, okay, well, when I'm at work, I have to dedicate this amount of time to learning.
Yep,
to learning that. And then I have to have a cutoff period. At 3, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, cut it off. I got to take off that hat, put on another hat, and I got to dedicate all my time and energy to learning law. Now, eventually at work, I had began to understand. I found a pattern. I'm the type of person that when I'm doing things, if I find a pattern in it, it works better for me. So I found a pattern at work. I was like, okay, at work, there's a pattern of how things go. I picked up on the pattern and I was like, okay, I can do this. So that became to be easier for me, so that when law became harder, because that was the law, I still haven't found a pattern today. When I got easier at work, I was able to focus more on law, and that's how I was able to grasp.
Oh man, that's powerful, bro. And I salute you, because you really, the amount of mental fortitude that you have to have for a long duration of time to be able to make sure you're giving 100%, at your tech job and still learning because you were in a new field, but then to, like you say, take off that hat and put on this other new hat as far as learning law. And like you said, there's no real gist or master plan on how to learn. Like, you just got to absorb as much as you can. Like, that mental fortitude to do that for years, like, that's just, that's a testament to you. That's a testament to, your hard work and your grit.
I appreciate it, bro. And man, honestly, man, we both got these Iowa jerseys in the background.
Yeah.
And we, me and you've talked about it before. We've had our issues, like what we felt like were not demons, but just issues that we had from Iowa. But from every situation, regardless of it's good or bad, right? We learn. Like, we learn, and I learned. Like, I learned how to grind at Iowa. No BS. We were from inner city. Cleveland.
Our schedules was crazy, and
it was crazy.
And we got it done.
And we got it done, right? And not only that, bro, we were, while adjusting to a completely different culture.
Exactly.
We were culture shock when I first went to Iowa. So,
man, me too. I was going to get to that once I dive into your childhood and all that, and then I'm gonna talk about that transition, because, like you say, inner city Cleveland, inner city Chicago, like, people don't understand what that transition is like. People think that, okay, you're at a Big Ten university and it's just supposed to be easy, but when you're used to being around people that look like you, the majority of people around you look like you, and that literally switches to the exact opposite. You're in class and it's like 2 black people out of 200. That transition is very, very tough, man. But we're going to get to that, because
for sure. I was saying that to say that it taught you how to grind, bro.
Exactly.
It taught me how to say, man, you know what, man, this is terrible. This sucks for me right now, but I got to go. And I plan on accomplishing it. You know what I'm saying? By any means necessary. So put your head down and grind it out.
Exactly.
So that built that fortitude to, because honestly, when I left Iowa, bro, and I came down here to Clark Atlanta University and I kept playing, man, I had built up such not, I ain't gonna say tough skin, but such a resilience that nothing to me
nothing
was
can phase you. Yeah.
Yeah.
that and that's one thing that Iowa would do. You gonna grow some resilience. You gonna grow some because it's gonna make you grow that for sure. But yeah, before I dive into your childhood, man, just a couple more current events.
Yeah.
Tell me this, bro. How have you grown spiritually, emotionally, physically in the last 9 months since we've been adults? We're both in our 30s. We have never seen the world shut down. We have never walked through a pandemic. We've never seen anything like this. So how have you had to pivot? I'm sure you've had to pivot in certain different ways and change your schedules and do this and do that. How have you grown in those three aspects these last 9 months?
And those aspects of what again? Spiritually,
emotionally, physically, just any of those.
Yeah, man. So I'm a very spiritual guy, right? And I don't want to be like, I hate to sound like one of those people that just just speak this out, right? Or just talking because they think that's what people want to hear. Like, to me, honestly, bro, I kind of felt at the end of 2019, I felt something. I'm like, man, like it's about to be a major shift. Like I just felt like a major shift. Now I felt like that major shift. I didn't know what that major shift was going to be, but I felt like it was going to be something big, in particular for me. I thought it was just going to be for me, by myself. But I felt that I'm like, man, it's a major shift is about that. So then 2021 happened. Actually, stuff shut down right after my birthday. I had went to Vegas for my birthday, and I think we were leaving. And the day we were leaving, we had read something like, "Oh, the first case of coronavirus was found
in March,
Vegas."
Yeah.
Oh
wow.
So we just missed it, and then the world shut down. It was crazy. You know what I mean?
It was like, super crazy, bro.
I was like, this is wild. So so what I did was, man, I kind of had. I feel like all of 2019 and 2018 and the years prior to that had kind of prepared me spiritually for this moment, because all up until this, I had been growing in this new sense of, man, no matter what happens, I'm good. Like, no matter what happens, what transpires in this world, I'm not of this world. I'm good. Like I'm not. I'm gonna be taken care of no matter what. And so in 2020, when the pandemic happened, bro, I was kind of like, this sucks. We can't see our family and stuff without the band, but I wasn't affected like spiritually. Like, I wasn't affected. If anything, it reaffirmed to me that, I felt this prior to it happening. So I felt for me more than I had in the past. So spiritually, it was just growing. It was like, man, keep trusting in God, and not not to just sound religious, right? Because I'm not religious per se as I am like
spiritual. Right. I'm the same way.
Exactly. So it's like while there are certain things that you're supposed to do when you listening to the spirit on the inside of you, that I might have to move a little differently to get there. So spiritually, that's just what's been happening to me. I've just been growing in that sense. More and more every day. I try to sit down. I try to hone in. And I try to what I've coined this term is hyper focus. Like I try to hyper focus on that that spirit on the inside of me. Emotionally, man, because of that spiritual growth, I would say, I think that I've been able to be still. You know what I mean? While there's been a lot of emotion going on, like, man, no toilet paper.
Emotional roller coaster.
It's been an emotional roller coaster, like you said. I've been able to be still because of that knowledge of, man, look, no matter what happens in this, I'm gonna be good. No matter how this turns out, I'm gonna be okay. And I've lost a loved one to the coronavirus, and I've had countless of other family members come down with. I haven't, thank God, and I won't, thank God. But I've lost people, but I've just been emotionally still because I know that there's something bigger. And then physically, bro, I've been slacking. I'm not even gonna
lie. bro, same here, man. I done picked up a quarantine 25. I've been going super hard at the gym trying to get back to the size I was before the coronavirus. it's funny, man. I never stopped working out. I still worked out, just doing at home stuff. You know, when the pandemic first hit. Yeah, but as we know, we're both former athletes. Those home workouts aren't the same as you at the gym. You running on a treadmill. You know you doing stations. It's not the same thing. And
it's
so
not the same. And I know you. I've seen you work out, G. I've been looking at you like, how does this, like, bro is like 207. He going crazy. Like,
right. Yeah, that's
hundreds like easy. I'm
easy.
like,
Yeah, I had got, man. I like you said, that hard working mentality just from being an athlete. I put it inside of my head that when I was done playing ball, that I was gonna lose all the weight I gained. I wanted to get back to the size I was in high school, even smaller. And I just I just went after it. Before I knew it, I was 207. I was lean as ever. So yeah, man. I can attest to all that stuff, man. It's funny, man. As you know, I was out in LA, on a journey pursuing acting and hosting, just the arts in general, writing, things like that. And we linked up. I think we linked up, when you came out there to visit.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that stillness. I hadn't established that stillness before the pandemic, right? So when it hit, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It hit me like a ton of bricks, bro, because, and I gotta be I'm honest and transparent on my platform. Every way, I was in entertainment. So I was doing private security for private events. Like I had my hands in a lot of different things making money. Also, I was acting as well. So when the pandemic hit, it really hit me because every which way I was making money, like was done. Like everything got canceled. And so, of course, when it hit, like I remember the first day it hit, I didn't go anywhere. I didn't eat anything. I think I drank a little water. I literally just laid in my bed all day because I couldn't believe that this was happening. I couldn't believe that the world was shutting down. I kept getting emails, all the different things that I had scheduled to make money and, continue to push forward. I was getting emails, cancel. And so for me, it, again, like you say, it was an emotional roller coaster because I had to build up so much courage to even have the courage to move from Atlanta to LA to pursue this. Like, obviously, I already know in my head, like, man, I'm crazy. What am I doing? I need to just chill out. I need to, yeah. And so, yeah. And I built up enough courage and I did it. And as soon as I got to LA, I started getting lead role auditions, national commercials. I mean, I was literally doing it, bro. Like, and so for everything to shut down, and I literally had to take a step back and come up with a second plan. I had to pivot and figure out how I needed to stabilize, whether I needed to move back to Atlanta, go back to Cleveland, whatever. I had to do that work. And so it was hard, man. It was hard because I couldn't believe that this was happening. Like, and then all the negative thoughts come and things like that. So I think the fact that you have already established that still base before it happened. When it happened, like you said, you just kept chucking along, and that's so refreshing to hear, because I literally had the opposite feeling. I had the opposite experience of that. So that's powerful, man.
But you know what though, bro? You never know how what and this is one thing. I'm glad that you have this platform, and I'm glad that you're doing this, because I think as young African American men in particular, we have to do this to each other more often. But like, you never know what you would do that would inspire me, right? I never know that what I would do would inspire anybody else. But I would look at you, right? I would look at you, I'm like, bro, chasing his dream. Me and Mike D would talk about like LeBron, because we've all seen where we came from, Iowa, right? We all are completely different people. And I was like, yo, LeBron really chasing his dreams. And one thing that I really, really admired about you was that you had got to this point where you were like, bro, I don't care. And you never said it to me, and I've never heard you say it, but I saw it in you and your action that you like, man, I'm about to be me, and I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a be me. I'm a chase.
Unapologetic. Yeah.
Unapologetic. Right? And that was inspiring, bro. And I was like, man, like, bro, really, he doing this thing. And you tell me that story about how, and I can only imagine, bro, how, everything that you was riding on, you see cancel. That'll probably knock me off, you know?
Bro, I'm telling you.
But here you are now, right? You here right now, you know, doing the same things that you
still at it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's, you know, this year has it's been a blessing for me, man. It's crazy. I did a vision board. I've been doing vision boards the last 3 years. I do a vision board every New Year's Eve. You know, kind of to just really put some good energy out for the year, for the next year, and kind of, you know, write down those goals and things like that. And I think I told you out of the 9 things, I accomplished 7 of them, right? So it's like, even though, you know, we've had to pivot in so many different ways, man, we're still accomplishing goals, right? So it's like, it's so good to see, man. Last current event question, and I know you can attest to this. You have a lot to say because you have that Big Ten experience at a predominantly white school, and then you have that HBCU experience at Clark Atlanta as well. What's your take on Deion Sanders having that courage to strike out and be a head coach at an HBCU? Like you said, I know that you can. I'm sure you can compare the Big Ten experience as far as the HBCU. I know Deion had been coaching high school for a while. He had interviewed at some bigger schools, and for whatever reason, they decided to go in a different direction. So, what's your take on him taking that chance? You know, bringing that good culture to HBCUs. Obviously, already, as we know, Jackson State is already getting like super A1 recruits, 5-star recruits already, just from him being there. So what's your take on that?
Man, we need more of it, bro. We need more of it, bro. Like I think that for too long, bro. And when I said a shift, like when I talked to you earlier about a shift, like that shift is happening all in every aspect of the world.
Right.
More of it, bro. It's time. Like
it's time. It's time.
Too long have athletes, in particular African American athletes, have been exploited and exposed.
I'm telling you.
You know, at the expense of for someone else to eat off of, man.
Exactly.
And for someone with the stature and the name of said like Deion Sanders to take his talents right to HBCU, to me says that while it's just beginning, while you know, while these things are just coming into fruition, it's about to be a major, and how this
it's
is
a tidal wave.
It's a tidal wave is coming, bro. And I tell you this though, another thing is the powers that be, if you will, right, won't let it go easily. But
they won't.
Yeah, but they can't stop it. You know, they can't stop it. Like, if you look at LeBron having the governor of California come on to his show, The Shop, and have him sign the law, right, the bill that says college athletes can now get paid for their name and likeness. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the NCAA follows suit, like, oh man, well, hey, you know, we think now it's time for college athletes to get paid.
I'm telling you.
That's a kind of way that you can't change, right?
You can't change it.
You can't change. You can try to fight it all you want, but it's a losing battle. So to me, I think it was well overdue. I'm so glad that Deion Sanders did that, bro. Because HBCUs need it, and I'll speak a little bit to that difference between, you know, PW out of University of Iowa and Clark Atlanta University, HBCU, D2 HBCU school. So for those who don't know, I walked on to Iowa. I played there. Well, I was on the team there and played there from 2009 to 2012. I graduated within the 4-year time period. And, you know, I had an academic scholarship. So I didn't have the athletic scholarship. So if I were to stay at Iowa, then it wouldn't have been paid for. But I had graduated within the time frame, and I had came to this crossroads, like, you know, are you going to stay here and pursue your NFL dreams, but, you know, to go into more debt for school, or are you going to go somewhere else? And what I decided to do, man, well, I'll leave Iowa because I had a year left for my red shirt. I said, I'll leave Iowa and I'll go down to Division II. And at Division II, it's not like D1, so the clock doesn't continue to run. Your clock only runs if you're a full-time student. So somehow, some way, bro, you know me, I'm a finesser. I don't know. Somehow, some way, I finessed 2 more years of college football at the D2 level at Clark Atlanta University. I came down, went full-time football. I went full-time on both of my football seasons. So
still
graduated with a master's, and I was able to get it, you know, with the scholarships and all. So it was a dope deal.
But blessings.
Man, Iowa, the students in D2 HBCUs, I'm pretty sure all around the country, do not get the energy, the respect, and they don't get the resources that they deserve, bro. Like I remember, man, like at HBCU, you know us at Training Table at Iowa, bro, we had a meal every day. Every day.
Yeah. Chefs, we had our own cafeteria, own chefs, own everything.
We got crab legs. I remember one time we had crab legs, bro.
Crab meat, steak. Oh. and you could take home whatever you wanted, and however much you wanted.
However much you wanted, no problem. I mean, we had refrigerators of juices. I mean, we had them little
Propels.
Yeah, we had the protein shakes that nobody had. The little Gatorade protein shakes. They was I get to Clark Atlanta University though, bro, and I got 50 meals for a whole semester.
Wow,
that's crazy, G. You eat 3 times a day, and the semester like 3 months long. I got 50 meals a whole semester, bro. I had to really befriend cafeteria staff to get me food. Like they're like, I know you ain't got no swipes, but here a plate. Take a plate home. I had to really do that, and it was grind. It was a struggle.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you got somebody like Deion Sanders now who is going to. Man, these athletes at these at these HBCU schools are just as good.
Exactly.
They got talent, and if you put the resources in them, they'll take off.
Exactly.
And hopefully that'll spark more Black athletes, to stop going to unless they want to, right? If it works for them, it works for them to go to the other schools. But man, don't forget about the HBCUs, bro.
Exactly. Don't forget about your people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's funny, man, because what I think Deion is really going to capitalize on, because let's ask the question: what's the reason most guys go to your SEC schools, your Big Ten, all these schools? Is because of the exposure. Their games are on ABC, ESPN, CBS, things like that. So, but what people don't really understand about Deion, he worked for the NFL Network and ESPN for 12 to 15 years. So he know all the showrunners. He know all the producers. He will be able to get those pitch meetings or those meetings to get Jackson State on the ESPN2, or to get Jackson State a big game versus Alabama or something like that. Like he knows how to move, and he also went to Florida State, so he knows how to turn the facilities, get the facilities better, how to get the athletes more meals per week. Just like you said, those resources, he knows what to do and how to bring better resources and better things to an HBCU university like that. So like you said, I mean, the tide wave is coming, and like you said, it can't be stopped. Like it's time.
It can't, bro. It cannot be stopped, bro. And I'm just glad, bro. I'm glad that somebody had, whether it was because they decided to go a different direction from him, but somebody said, you know what, I'm a do for my people, and we need that, bro. We need that in this community, in this culture. And for some reason, it's been, people try to make it seem like if you do that as a Black person, as an African American, that's a bad thing. Oh, you should buy for your people. Like, nah, bro.
Like nah, because the white people, that's what they do. They've been doing that for years.
Yeah, right. And let me preface it by saying this: ain't nothing wrong with it.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with it.
Ain't nobody saying you a bad guy for that. If you look at life, that's how life works. You gonna go, whether it's your culture or your family. I'm gonna buy for my family first,
Exactly.
So man, and I'm just glad that somebody decided to do that, right?
Exactly. And I'm actually in the works now. I'm trying to get the head coach of Morgan State, which is another HBCU, Tyrone Wheatley. He actually went to Michigan, and he played in the league for like 12 years. And so I think obviously Deion Sanders has the sauce and the swagger. So everyone's kind of generated and moved towards him and what he's doing at Jackson State. But a lot of people don't even know that Tyrone Wheatley has been at Morgan State for a couple of years now. So he's already been on that wave of trying to change the HBCU culture, things like that. So I'm actually in the works of trying to get him on here to kind of speak to how his journey has been at Morgan State, man. So it's like you say, man, it's a tide wave coming, and you can't stop it. So, man, let's dive into your childhood, man. Like you said, Chicago, Chi City, Chirac, whatever you want to call it. Talk about the energy and the vibration in the 90s. I know I was born in 89. I'm sure you was born in either 89 or 90 or 91. 90, yeah. So talk about the culture in Chicago in the 90s. Obviously, I mean, I'm sure, I can't speak to you. I can only speak to me. But obviously, I love the Bulls. I was a diehard Michael Jordan fan, and and you from Chicago, so I'm sure. So just talk about, did you have any influences, mentors? What was it like growing up in Chicago in the 90s? And I only asked that because, we didn't grow up like the kids now. We didn't have internet. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have cell phones. We really was outside all day. We had to interact. We had to play. We got creative with games, and we kept ourselves busy. So what was it like in Chicago in the 90s?
Man, listen, I was never a hoop fan. I was never a hoops fan, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not. I was never a hoops fan, and by the time Chicago won their sixth title, I was 6 years old, right? So I remember having and I was talking to my father about this, especially with that latest documentary that went to
Last Dance. Yeah.
I was talking to my father, I'm like, bro, man, why you gonna have us like sitting down and watching the games? He's like, man, I tried to make you watch the games, and you wanted to be out playing and all this stuff and this, that, and other stuff. So I'll be completely honest with you, bro. I don't have vivid memories of that Chicago Bulls run, those two runs.
Yeah.
Because the first one I was 3, right? I was 3, and then the second one it was 4, 5, and 6 for me. So I don't have vivid memories, but I remember this. I remember on the 96 when they had won the ship in 96, we was at my sister's crib, and everybody was celebrating, everybody was live, but they would not let us go outside. I'm like, why we can't, why we can't go outside? When people, because
it's Chirac. That's why.
It was going crazy out there. Like, man, you can't sit in the house, chill, watch the band, but what I will say is this, bro. I'll say that the years after that, Chicago instilled in me this energy of, you the, for lack of, excuse my French, you the shit.
Oh yeah, you cuss, yeah.
Yeah, you the shit, bro. Like, and can't nobody stop you.
That dog mentality, that inner city dog mentality that every city got. Yeah.
Exactly what you said. It was like, if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Period. Like, it's all about Period. That's all it was. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, and Chicago instilled that in me. It really did, bro. And I didn't realize how much until I left.
When you leave and you get to compare yourself to other people, and you see the veracity, you see the tenacity that you got that other people don't have.
Yeah, bro. I'm in here like, bro. I remember one time, dude. I tell you this. One time, we was in Iowa. I can't remember who we was with, but something happened to their tire or something like that, and the tire blew. And they were just sitting there like, bro, what we gonna do? I'm like, bro, you got a spare? And it's like, yeah, I got a spare. I'm like, well, let's change it. Like, what you doing?
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do it. What?
I don't know how to change the spare.
So, bro, to me, that's when I started to realize, like, bro, like, it put something different inside of me. It's exactly what you said. It's that veracity. It's like that, bro. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from doing what I want to do, and I'm the shit while doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
Cockiness to you that it's like, gee, I know where you from. I respect that shit, but I'm from Chicago. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure it's the same way with Cleveland. You know what I'm saying?
You already know.
And to bring it back to what you said about hooping and shit, right? The teams embody that. The teams embody that. Like, I can't tell you how many times I seen, especially so you talk about basketball, I was more of a Rose guy. I was like, okay, because in high school, I saw D Rose play my school in the state championship.
Yeah, okay. Simeon.
He murdered us, right? He murdered us in the state championship.
He was an animal at Simeon.
Animal. And I remember seeing when he got to the Bulls, I remember the games between Cleveland and Chicago. I couldn't stand y'all, G. I couldn't stand y'all.
You just another LeBron hater. Just another LeBron hater.
Hey, look, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. They I think it was one time LeBron wasn't playing for Cleveland at this time. He was playing with for
Miami. Okay.
Man, Rose was going crazy on Miami, and LeBron. They said, LeBron, you stick Rose, and man, shut him down, bro. I was like, damn, that shit. It was in the Eastern Conference Finals. I remember that he shut him all the way down. But I say all that to say that I remember watching those teams play Cleveland in Chicago in the grit. It was just gritty. It was like, bro, we don't care if you Chicago. Like, you know what I'm saying? We finna go crazy.
And what I loved about those games is because, like you said, Derrick Rose was from Chicago, and LeBron James is from Akron, which is 20 minutes, which is 20 minutes from Cleveland, which is basically Cleveland. Like, so, like you say, that gritty, that passion, you know, to be on their home teams. Like, I think that's why those series used to be so good.
Yeah, they used to go crazy, and I'd be like, man, like, you know, so when we talk about that tenacity that's in us, right? That energy, like, man, like, I can't nothing stop me from doing what I want to do. Like, to me, that's what Chicago instilled in me, bro. It really did, and I take it with me everywhere I go. There are certain things, right? Obviously, as a lawyer now, they're gonna be certain things that they expect from me, like, oh, you gotta, you know, wear a suit and tie and all that stuff. And I hate it, but you know what I'm saying? There are certain aspects of me that's been instilled in me from my city that I won't let go. You know what I mean? How I walk, how I talk. You know, it's just my whole demeanor. I won't let it go.
And you know, it's so funny, man. You know, I've my catalog is getting kind of long. I've been interviewing a lot of people, but it's crazy that it always, no matter if you go overseas, if you go to China, Japan, Atlanta, LA, Miami, wherever you go, it always goes back to those home values, those inner city gritty values of never quitting, never settling, fall down 7 times, get up 8. It always goes back to that, and that's one thing that I've been hearing so much, and that's, it's so powerful because even, you know, you can attest to that because that's what you're spewing as well.
It's in us, bro. It really is, bro. And I think that I remember one time I was doing a little tire thing at Iowa, bro. We were doing a little tire thing at Iowa.
Yeah, with the hammer.
The hammer. And then one of the medical staff, really, not even the strength and conditioning coach, one of the medical staff, he was like, oh yeah, Terrence, you can tell you're from the city. You're not from the country. You're from the city. And I got hot. I'm like, bro, like, look at where we are. Like,
what does that even mean? Like, what?
I was like, bro, how do you have pride in this, bro? Like, how do you have pride in this? But man, every time I go to the crib, G, I make it my duty to ride downtown and just look at that skyline, because that skyline is. I don't know if you've ever been to the city and you.
Oh yeah. I've been a few times. Yeah, I love Chicago. I love it, especially summertime shop.
Man, sometimes got a whole different story though. But man, G, that it instills something in me. It instills something in me. It reminds me of why I left, but it reminds me of what's in me when I did, what was in me when I did leave.
Absolutely, man. So, like we was talking about earlier, talk about your transition from, like you said, the inner city of Chicago to Iowa City. Obviously, culture shock. Not used to being around that many white people. It was a culture shock for me as well. I just never knew. I never knew how to talk about it. Like this podcast, even though I'm the host and the creator and the proprietor, it's helped me heal certain scars that maybe I thought that I healed in therapy or stuff like that. But even talking about them still to different guests is enabling me to heal as well. So what was your transition like? I know it was hard for you because I remember having to literally adjust how I talk because, you know, Chicago, y'all got a certain slang. Cleveland, we got a certain slang. And I would be saying certain words like for sure, or like, you know, just little, and people like didn't understand, like, what are you trying? Are you saying for sure? Like,
for sure. Oh man.
like, or if I say it's going, it's like that's like a Cleveland thing. It's going. They're like, what do you mean? Like, it's going mean like the party is crunk. It's popping. Yeah. Right. Like, what? Like, so I literally, but I used to say these words. This is how I talk. So I literally had to change how I talked, and it took me about 3 or 4 months, bro. I literally did. I don't feel like I got comfortable to probably, like, we got there in August. I didn't feel comfortable to probably like November, December. It took me some months to start to feel like I'm supposed to be here, and it started to feel normal. So how was that transition for you?
Yeah, man. I want to take something and caveat and put over to the side. You said therapy. I want, if you had time, you know, I want to talk about that a little bit too.
Okay.
the transition from Iowa City to from Chicago to Iowa City, man. I tell you a story, G. I tell you a story. I tell people this all the time. So my transition was a little bit different than yours in the sense that I wasn't recruited to come to Iowa, right? Like I was from the day that I got to Iowa up until like, I ain't gonna even lie, bro, like I would say my junior year there at Iowa, I felt like I was by myself. Like I really felt like I felt like I was by myself.
Okay.
But I tell you a story, G. This is the transition. So I was the first day I got there to Iowa. My mom dropped me off, and man, that's a scary thing, bro. Like when you leave home and they drive you to school and they drop you off and then they leave. And you just there by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
by yourself, bro.
It's time to go.
It's time to go. And man, I know you were so grateful to have like Bruce and Will there because you know
man.
Familiarity,
Oh
bro.
man, yeah.
I had nothing. Nothing. So I was there the second day after that, man. I had got up and I got dressed like I knew to get dressed. Like I got up, put on a baggy black tee. I had a chain down here. I had my do-rag on, but I stayed walking around with the do-rag on. I had a big hoodie on. So I had a big hoodie on. It was like I think it was like maybe like 62 degrees that day. 62 degrees, right? So I had the hoodie on with the basketball shorts though. So I was like, I was kind of,
Chicago through and through.
Yeah, right. Clearly Chicago. So I walk outside and I stayed in Quadrangle. Oh, y'all stayed in Hillcrest, I think, because I walked on. So I stayed in Quad.
Okay.
And there's a little viaduct at Quad, bro. So I walk outside of the viaduct, and man, as soon as I get outside, the sun hit me in my eye. I'm like, man, what the hell? And look, and then I do like this, bro. It's people sunbathing in the grass, playing sand volleyball, riding bikes, playing ultimate frisbee, and I had never seen anything like this. Bro.
Me either.
Yeah, I was like, bro. I'm like, this is an American Pie movie. Like this is.
It's like the first thing you think about is like, man, how did I get here? Like,
how did I get here, bro? So I literally walk over to I sit down, bro, by myself, and I call my brother. I'm like, bro, where the fuck am I? Like, I was like, where am I? What am I? Like, what am I?
Yeah.
And bro, I was just culture shock, bro. I didn't go for like the first year, bro. I had a roommate, and I love this dude. His name AJ. He was a cool guy, but he was from Dubuque, Iowa, white guy. I was from the farm, you know. I was from Iowa. From Chicago, south suburbs of Chicago, and our lives were completely different.
Yeah,
right?
completely different. Yeah.
It was such not even.
Wow, what was that like? Did you all like have a relationship at all, or not really? Because you don't speak his language, he don't speak yours.
Man, it was crazy, bro. Because when we first got there, we didn't know how to talk to each other. Like we didn't know how to talk to each other. But I'll give him this, and I'll give this to me as well. We were both willing. We were both willing to understand each other's cultures and understanding where Iowa and Chicago and the difference. And and sometimes we butt heads. Now I tell you this now, he's one of my good friends. Now AJ is one of my best friends. He's a great guy.
Okay.
When I first got there, bro, it was just completely different. Like they would get up and go to the bars and come back just wasted, and I wouldn't even go to the bars because I was like, what? I think I went to the bar one time, and I'm a huge T.I. fan, and that's when whenever you like, whatever you like.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's I went to Union, and I was like, oh, this is gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you can have whatever you like. I was like.
They put the techno on there.
I was like, what?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's hilarious.
So I just didn't go to the bars after that moment. And he would come back drunk all the time. And man, it was to make a long story short, bro, it was really, really a culture shock, and it was hard. And then I did it by myself, right? I did it by myself. Even when I walked onto the team, I felt like, and I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I felt like I wasn't part of the team, bro, because I always felt like I had to prove myself to y'all. Like, oh man, I'm a walk on. Like, don't nobody know me. You know what I'm saying? Like, people trying to play me. They don't think I deserve to be here. You know what I mean? So I would constantly feel like, bro, I'm by myself. Like I'm by myself. So it was really, really tough for me, bro. And so one day I just said, man, you know what? I'm here. Like I can't. And this, like I said, this had to be my junior year, and it was therapy that helped me do this. This had to be my junior year in college, and I was just like, man, I'm here. I can't change this. I can't. The friends that I had back at home, they're not here. They're not the friends that I got here. And the team that I was a part of back then, and not the team. This is the team that I'm with. And it just helped me slowly begin that process. I did finish it at Iowa. It was tough for me at Iowa. I had a lot of scars from Iowa. But I
a lot of
Iowa. And that's how that transition was for me, bro. It was kind of tough. But hey, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the world. My
exactly.
world world was expanded. I learned, just like you said, how to talk to people. I learned how to go. One thing about me is that I was always a good listener, and I was always good at speaking to people to help them understand what I needed, right? But I was used to doing that in a Black culture. I was used to doing it in Black culture, right? And when I got to Iowa, I didn't know that language. I didn't know how to do that. So I learned how to do that in the world now today.
That definitely, man. And that's a part of what you said, like when you said your world expanded, because I had to learn the same thing. Like I had to kind of switch up how I was talking to get my point across and learn how to communicate with people that didn't look like me and things of that nature, man. But so what moments I remember, like it's so funny being older and really being able to think about those times. And I think that I was going through so much at Iowa, like internally, just you know how Coach K used to talk. I mean, you know how Rick Kazisi used to talk to us, man. We had to deal with literally verbal abuse every fucking day for years, bro. Like, and you still had to be a student, and you still had to focus on your schoolwork, and you still had to check on your family, and you still had to send money home to your family to take care of them, and you still had to be eligible, and you still had to just so many different things pulling at me. Like, so I feel like we didn't get like super tight to later, closer to when you graduated and I graduated as well. But I think a lot of times guys, it's almost like you suffer in silence because you would be suffering or you'd be feeling bad, but it's like you can't really tell any of your teammates because you don't know either they suffering or you don't know how they would receive it. You don't know if they would look at you different or like, oh, Brian a crybaby or Brian this or Brian. It's like, so you just internalize it all. You internalize it all and you just keep fighting. And so I know, like you said, you had some scars. And I remember, it's funny, man, because I know that I only remember being disrespected by Chris Doyle once. And he was talking to me and Bruce. It wasn't just like individual, but I know you had several different instances where somebody is saying some slick ass shit to you, like, or some shit that they shouldn't be saying to you. You know what I mean? And I know you went into detail about some of them this summer when the racial disparities issue came out, but it gave me so much more empathy for your journey, hearing the details of it. And I know you could talk about more things and it made me feel bad because it's kind of like, damn, why didn't I kind of say something to him back then to let him know that he could talk to me about whatever, he need to get off his chest. And then also for me to know that it would be cool to talk to you because I was really suffering in silence. The only time that I could really talk about all the struggles is like, once we got to our apartment, me and Will, I mean, we would stay up till 4 a.m, literally talk for 6 hours, just talking about what we're going through, what we're experiencing. How do we keep fighting through this shit? Like, you know what I mean? So, it's crazy if you want to go into detail about any of those things, man.
Yeah, man. I'll first say this, bro, because when I first got to Iowa, right? I did, like I told you, I came from a different perspective, and I came from as a walk-on, right? And I didn't know anybody, and I felt like, and particularly, and I keep 100% with you. Because just we cool now. In particular, it was you, Bruce, and Will. Like y'all but it was because y'all had such a tight, like, y'all was like a family. Y'all like, bro, good. Y'all was a real legit family. You know what I'm saying? And what I saw in y'all was familiar to me.
Yeah.
You know, it was
yeah.
familiar to me, right? It was like, damn, dude, like they got that. But I internally, I felt as though I could, y'all wouldn't accept me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, they wouldn't accept me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like so it, to me, it became to be a little combative. Like I would be like, you know, fuck it, I don't need them. Like, you know, I'm from Chicago. You know, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know, I don't need them. I'm from Chicago, right?
Yeah.
But the whole time though, we needed each other.
Right? Exactly.
We really did need each other.
Exactly.
And my relationship with you grew individually. My relationship with Bruce grew individually, and my relationship with Bill grew individually. And from all three of those individual relationships that grew, I just learned. I'm like, bro, these my brothers. Like, they legit. Like, of all the people, no, and this is no bullshit aside, bro. I mean, all bullshit aside. Of all the people, black and white, that were on that team at the University of Iowa, I could relate to y'all three the most.
Yeah.
Right? Because we were the closest to each other. Like, y'all were I was from Chicago. It wasn't a lot of people from Chicago that was, for some reason, wasn't recruited.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
Iowa. You know what I mean? So in retrospect now, when I'm thinking about this, I'm like, man, like, what issues did I have? Like, you know, what issues did I have? Why wouldn't we talk to each other? Yeah. But I also did, like, man, we were all young black men in this world that
super
was
young, trying to figure out who we were.
Trying to figure out who we were, trying to figure out our lives, bro. You know what I'm saying? So we what I had come to find out was like, bro, I can't, man, like I can't hold nothing against nobody. Like nothing against nobody, because like I know now. Back then when I was going through it, and I just felt like I was in it by myself. But now that I know, I'm like, man, like to hear your stories, right? And to hear for you to hear my stories, I'm like, bro, we was all struggling. We was all struggling.
And trying to keep it together, though.
Trying to keep it together, bro. And to me, it was tougher for me because I didn't feel like, and I'll even go as far as to say, I didn't have that respect of, you belong to be here, right? It was because I was a walk-on, right? It was like, you don't belong to be here. I remember specifically one time Coach Doyle told me to my face, like, man, if it was up to me, you wouldn't be on the team now. I hit him back with it. Well, good thing it ain't up to your ass. It's up to Coach Terrance. Keep it moving and play your part. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hit him back with something like that. Oh, me and Coach Doyle will always go back and forth. But man, it was just you know, it was tough. That was tough for me, bro. It was tough for me. But to our relationship now, like me and you need to get on your podcast now and to talk to you now, man. That means so much to me. That helped me so much to heal. Like,
exactly.
It made me realize, like, man, like, bro, LeBron had no, and me and you I think me and you start getting cool over pool. Like, we would shoot pool
together. We start shooting pool more, and then I would just remember as me and Mike Daniels' relationship started to really advance, whereas, you know, we would do a bunch of extra workouts together, and then I would like go to his house and chill, or he would come to my house and chill. I think like I said, that was more towards the end of our career, like junior, senior year. I feel like that's when it really. And obviously we were older. Instead of 18, we was 22, 21. So we were kind of starting to find ourselves. And I feel like that's when our relationship kind of really was able to evolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. And so I mean, that helped me heal. Me and Bruce, me and him were roommates one time for summer camp. It was the first summer camp that I was able to go to because I was injured for the most part before that. And Bruce went through what he did when they played him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when they did him dirty.
Man, and me and him were just talking, and I was just like, damn, bro, like, yo, we really got like this similar story. Like, it was just, so that helped me heal. I remember Bruce was like, man, bro, I don't know why I never talked to you. You know what I'm saying? He said, but you know, you cool. I was like, yeah, same here. You cool too. You know what I mean? And to me, that helped me heal. I'm like, man, like, you know, these people, they my bros, bro. They really, we going through the same struggle together, and we have been conditioned to combat or compete with each other so much that we didn't realize that we were a resource for each other. So
exactly.
So my junior and senior year, man, Mike Daniels and Sean Prater, they really began to we all kind of came close. Like, they were all my people, and you know, and like you said, towards the end of our career, we just started to grow, man. And I'm just thankful, bro. I really am. I really am thankful.
Definitely, man, definitely. And it's cool that we can kind of relive though that journey, and obviously talk about some things that were serious and laugh at some things, man. It's the journey is always the best teacher.
Exactly, and we still on it too. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's a never ending journey. So obviously you already talked about some differences from Clark, Atlanta and Iowa as far as the meals and just the resources, the amount of resources and things like that. What moment stood out to you during your career at Iowa or at Clark, Atlanta, whichever holds the most weight, whichever holds the most weight. What best memories do you have?
Well, I remember at Iowa, my first time playing. My first time playing at Iowa, man. And bro, man. Gee,
was that when you had that real hard hit, that real hard tackle for loss when you smacked the dude?
No. So you're thinking about practice like that. That was our.
That was a spring game.
Yeah, that was a spring game. And
I don't know why. I just would never ever forget that because I just remember like damn, they smacked me.
I went crazy, but no, my first game playing. It was the first game. It was against Louisiana Tech, I think it was.
Okay.
And I went in, bro. I think our leading tackler that game had 10 tackles in 3 quarters. I had like 9 in one drive. I went crazy, G. Like I went because I was so excited, and the only reason I played that game was because Bruce was hurt. Bruce was like, "Man, I can't go. You go." And Coach Wilson was like, "All right, Terrence, you go in. You play Mike." And that's the only reason I played that game. And this was after me and Bruce had got cool, and I think he had like some type of sternal issue. And he was like, "Man, I'm hurt right now." He said, "I can't go, Coach. You got to put Terrence in." And he put me in, and I went crazy. And I remember you know what game it was, bro? It was that game when it was raining like crazy. You remember?
The first game. Yeah, I remember.
It was that first game, and I played that, bro. And I remember getting up after like making one of my tackles, and I looked up in the stands, and I saw my father and my auntie and my mom, and my mom was just jumping up. She was like, "Yeah!" Like it was wet. Nobody else was there, but I saw them 3. Man, that shit meant so much to me, dog.
I can only imagine, bro.
Yeah, it meant a lot to me because it was a lot, bro. It was a lot. I had fought through.
You had fought through a lot, yeah.
I had got injured twice. I had fought through the period of like feeling like I didn't have nobody on the team with me. I had broke my foot. I had a sports hernia, and I had started to think that one time that when my coach told me that, bro, you'll never play Division I college football.
You started to think that was true.
Yeah, I was like, maybe he right. Maybe he right. And man, when I got done, when I made that tackle, when I looked up, bro, and I saw my mama and my father and them yelling. I was like, man, that meant a lot to me, bro. It really did. I
can only imagine.
And then from Clark Atlanta University, bro, my first game playing down there, I remember, G, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I remember crying before the game because I was like, man, like I get to play. Like, man, like, and I don't think how many people understand how important this game is to us, right? How important the game was to us.
Exactly.
And I was crying before the game because I was like, damn, G, like I get to play. I went through 4 years at Iowa. I played maybe like 4 games tops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never had the chance of playing Northwestern under the lights. Never had a chance of playing Ohio State. All the things you grow up dreaming about.
Exactly. All the dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, and at that point at Clark, I was like, man, I never had a chance to do that stuff again, probably. But I was just like, man, bro, I get to play. You know what I mean? And man, bro, it brought tears to my eyes. So those are the two moments that stand out to me the most about my collegiate careers at Iowa and Clark Atlanta.
Dope, man. Those are amazing stories and experiences, man. You do a very good job of painting the story as well. Tell me this, bro. Talk about the day you knew in your conscious mind that you were done playing football, that you was never going to strap it up again. Was it a good day? Was it a bad day? Because I can be honest, and I feel like we're both doing a good job of being honest.
Yeah.
It was a bad day for me. It was a bad month. It was a bad year.
Yeah.
Like, in 2017, I played arena football again. 2016, 2017 was the year where I told myself, okay, I think I was like 27, 28 at the time. And I was just like, man, I played 2 years of arena football. I did everything that I could do. I wasn't making a lot of money playing arena, but I really loved the game and I still wanted to play. I still had that itch to play. So putting in my conscious mind on December 4th, 2017, I still remember the exact day, that, okay, I'm done playing football. I will never put a helmet on again. I need to figure out what I'm passionate about outside of sports. I need to figure out what I need to do to reinvent myself. That was hard. It was hard because, like I said earlier, I felt like, just being honest and putting it all on the table, I felt like I underachieved. I started playing football at 8 years old after I saw Desmond Howard. Desmond Howard is from my neighborhood. He went to my elementary and went to my middle school. And he came back when I was 8 years old after the Packers won the Super Bowl, and he was Super Bowl MVP. He came back and talked to us for 20 minutes and said, "Hey, I'm from the same neighborhood. I walk the same streets that you walk. You can do it too." And that put a battery in my back that I said, man, at the least, if I don't make it to the NFL, I'm at least playing the Big Ten. And I was able to do that. But when you put all those years, that culmination of 18, 20 years of playing, I felt like I underachieved. I felt, and then that's when the negative thoughts start to come. It's like, man, did I take any shortcuts? Did I do anything that could have hindered me from the opportunity? And I knew that I didn't. I knew that I went over and beyond any and everything that I could do to give myself the best opportunity to at least get to the NFL, at least get into a camp, just at least get to compete, even if it was only for a couple of months. So it was hard for me because I've always been a perfectionist, I've always been hard on myself. Like, that's just how I was raised, and I'm still like that to this day. With some tweaks that I had to tweak just so I could still be here.
Man, right.
Yeah, so I could still be here, man. So
that's real.
For that, for you, do you remember, was it a day, was it a time period, or was it just kind of like a transition, or did you not think about it? Because I know some guys, they would go get a job and they would just try to like hide that feeling and try not to even think about it. It would keep themselves busy to the point where they don't have to think about that.
No, to that later point, I couldn't have done that. G. Like, and this is one thing I really wanted to tell. Like I think remember one time I was talking to my homeboy Sean Prater, and he said, man, you don't love football. I'm like, bro, what you talking about? I don't love, like, how could you say that? He said, you don't love football. We was at the pool table in Hillcrest, and he's like, bro, you don't love football. You don't love football. At that time, Sean was a very peculiar guy. He was a real, and I respected the hell out of him then. I respect the hell out of him now, because he was always a guy who spoke his mind, and was never afraid, to do it. But he said that to me, and I was like, damn, bro, how dare you, like, tell me I don't love football. And so I could never just put it behind me, like you said, some people were able to do, and just act like it never happened, because I love the game too much. Like,
exactly. Me too.
And you talk about feeling like an underachiever, bro. Like, the same person, the same way bro came to you and told you that, Antoine Randall was the guy. He went to Thornton. I went to Thornwood. He went to Thornton, and he visited the 205. He told us the same thing.
Okay.
Thing, G. And and I didn't start at 8. I started playing in high school my freshman year.
Okay.
And I was just like, when he told me that, I'm like, damn, bro. And like you said, that energy that was on the inside of us, like, man, I could do whatever that comes to me. I was like, bro, if he can do it, I could do it. So you're talking about underachieving, like, I felt like, man, the greatest thing I had did in my football career was make it to the University of Iowa. I didn't even play, you know what I mean? So I was just like, damn, like, I felt bad. But I'll tell you, I can't tell you, I don't know the specific day when football was over for me. I could tell you the specific, I don't know the specific day, but I remember saying it to myself, like, damn, G, it's done. Like, it's over with. But I tell you, the moment I knew that my career was going to end at Clark Atlanta University, I didn't face it until I had, like, gradually start, building and facing it, until that point where I told you, like, okay, damn, G, it's done. But I remember I was playing at Clark Atlanta University, and bro, it was a routine play. It was I think it was like a G pull or something like that. The guard came around. The guard came around. One of the linebackers took, I think the wheel took it, and I was a middle linebacker. It was a straight shot through. It was a TFL. I would have won the game. I went all the way through, shot through, grabbed the dude, and I missed the tackle. And I was just like, and it was a routine tackle, bro. Routine tackle. I had done it plenty times throughout my football career. But when I missed that, it wasn't because I didn't know what was going on. It wasn't because I didn't know what to do. It was because I was a step slow. I was like, and at that time, I was like, G, it's over. Like,
you can feel it.
I felt it. I like, it's over. I said, the years that you had to be like crazy, like, to be as raw as you could have been, I said, it's over. And I felt it in the back of my head. I didn't face it, but I felt it. So I finished through that season. I played the next season, and I had a good year, you know, at Clark Atlanta University. I think I was all conference or some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I had felt it. I tried out. I did a regional combine. A few people came to Clark Atlanta, and you know they saw us do our thing, but I just my 40 had went from like a 4.5 to like a 4.7 something like that.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's like, yeah, bro, it's coming to an end. So when I finished, I think I finished my last game. We played Southern University. I finished my last game, and I was just sitting in there, and I was like, man, you know, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna still make it to the league. I'm still make it to the league. But then something started happening to me. It was like every time I would go try out, every time I go do something, I get hurt. Like I remember one time I was playing and somebody did something and I opened up, a smooth opened up, but I stepped down and my heel started hurting. I was like, yeah, bro,
and that's the thing. Like that's what people don't realize. As you get older, that's when those small little aches and pains they stay for a little longer.
Yep.
You get injured not doing nothing.
Yep, exactly. Like,
right. Your back start hurting, your knee start hurting.
Man, in your head, you like, man, I'm good. I can still go. But your body be like, nah, bro, this shit dead. Like,
yeah, I knew it's crazy that you say that because, like I said, I played arena football in 2013. Then I moved to Atlanta because I knew that I would be able to garner a lot of CFL tryouts in Atlanta because, you know, they come to big cities, Atlanta, LA, Miami.
Right.
They don't really come to the Midwest. They don't come to Chicago or Cleveland. Nah. So I knew I needed to be in a bigger city. And I had never been to Atlanta anyway. I had heard that, you know, young black professionals were thriving here. So moved here. And I literally went on the CFL circuit for 2 years, 2014, 2015. I literally tried out for almost every CFL team, Saskatchewan, Calgary, BC Lions, literally almost every team, the Toronto Argonauts, literally almost every team. And they all told me the same thing. You hell of a player, you had a hell of a workout, we like your tape. Should injury strike, we'll call you. Stay in shape. Same thing. Wow. So then after 2014, 2015, I still wanted to play. So I get signed by the Iowa Barnstormers. I go play in 2016. But at the time I was 27. So that's when I knew, because I knew I wasn't playing the whole season. I was going to play 10 games, get some good film to send to my agent, and go back to Atlanta. Just go back to work and working out. And but I remember after my first game, it was we played the Cedar Rapids Titans. And I was 27 now. Now I hadn't played since 2013.
Right.
Exactly. But what's crazy, I went off. Like I had like 3 sacks in the game, 3 TFLs. I went crazy. But the next day, like when I say after every game I couldn't move, like I would literally literally the next day, I literally after every game for those 10 games, when I say that I couldn't hardly move, everything on my body was hurt. Everything, my Achilles, my knees, and then you know you playing arena, so you got scrapes on your legs, my wrists, my pec, my shoulders, my hips. So at that point, I knew, like after them 10 games, I was like, okay, 27, I'm giving it all I can give. I still got some athletic ability. I'm still pretty explosive. But if it didn't work out, it's like I knew that like I would be okay with it because my body was feeling like when you start getting them bodily injuries and that bodily soreness, that's when you know it's like, okay, it's time to it's time to hang it up.
Hang it up. And like you said, when they last longer, right? When they last longer than what they do.
Yeah. That's how you know.
Yeah, so that's how it was, man. And then one day I just it was like, hey man, you gotta let it go. It's done. You know, school was done. I had graduated with my master's, and I was just like, man, you know, you gotta let it go. And then that's when that whole journey of that darkness of like what you talked about, like that with them. Who am I?
Yeah.
What do I do? That's when that started. So you know.
So how? Yeah. Let me ask you this: how like. What did you pull from? Like, how did you work through that dark space, right? Because I love asking guys this, or I love hearing when a guy says he was in a dark space, because I was in one too. And I had to try so many different things to try to get myself out of that, right? Without lashing out or doing something that was kind of uncharacteristic to who I really was. So what did you pull from? What was your process in getting yourself out of that dark space?
Yeah, man. I think one thing that I've always been able to do, and to me is I've always been able to step back and look at perspectives and not just mine. I step back, I look at my perspective. I step back, I look at someone else's perspective. Then I'll step back and I'll look at a general perspective. And I'll take all of that, and then I'll put it back into my perspective and move accordingly. Right.
Okay.
So that's how I tend to do things. So when that happened, when football stopped for me, what I had to do was I had to take a step back and I had to just start looking at it from all of these different perspectives. I started looking at it from my perspective as an athlete. What would happen if I kept chasing it? I had to start looking at it from the perspective of my family, if I kept chasing it and this and that and another. I had to start looking at it as from the perspective of the world. Like, and what I came to when I took all of that and I put it back in my perspective, what I came to was I don't want to be one of those people who didn't know when it was done. You see people who they'll play arena league and then they'll do that. They'll go to semi-pro and then and then you look up, they like 42 playing with 22-year-old people.
Still playing semi-pro.
Right, still playing semi-pro and going hard at it. Like, so they going hard at it.
Hey, that's one thing I told myself. I'm like, okay, I'll do this arena thing because I still want to play, but you would never, ever see me playing semi-pro. You would never see me doing that. No. It won't ever get that bad.
It won't ever get that bad. Right. So I mean, and then you'd be like 42, like, damn, bro, don't you got a family you gonna be taking care of? Like, right. So I did that. I'm like, man, I didn't want to, because to me, if that happened, that means that football won. That means football beat me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's when I had to look to see, like, gee, it's more stuff bigger than football. It's more to life than football. I didn't want to be one of those people where when they look back and read my story, it'd be all football. Oh, he played at the University of Iowa, then he went to do this, and then he went to coach here, and then now he's coaching high school. So I told myself, I said, man, gee, football is just a vehicle. It's just a car. It's just a car. You know what I mean? Exactly. It's literally like a car. You love your car. If you got a nice car, you love your car. Right. That's my. I'm gonna ride that car till the wheels fall off. It's nice. I got a lot of memories in this car. A lot of ladies woo woo woo. Whatever I did in this car, I got a lot of memories. But when that car breaks down, it's over. You gotta let it go. And what you gotta do? You gotta go get a new car.
Exactly.
And I said, okay, so that's what I said. I said, football is a vehicle. I had a lot of great memories in here, a lot of wonderful experiences. I met a lot of different people, a lot of different relationships.
Exactly.
The car broke down. Okay, exactly. I said, so if that's just the car that I'm using to drive on my road to my ultimate goal, I just got to get a new whip. Exactly. So and that's what led me. That was what was able to pull me out and led me to law. I said, well, what's the next whip that's gonna get me to that road? And that's law school. And that's what I got there. So that's how I was able to say, okay, that's how I was able to deal with. And it's tough, bro. Don't get me wrong. And I want everybody to hear this. Football is a real thing. I still watch pro football to this day, and I compare. Same here. Yeah, I'd be like, man, bro, I could be doing that. Like that was supposed to be me. If I watch college football, I'm like, damn, bro, I was doing that. I was that type of player. Like that was me. Iowa just didn't know how to use me. I was a rusher. I was a stand-up rusher out the end, bro. That was me. They didn't know how to use me. And we played in a 4-3. And it's a constant battle. But I had to keep telling myself, like, nah, bro, like that vehicle's done, that car's gone. This is your new car. Drive it as long as it take you. Drive it as long as it take you. And until you reach your goal, you switch the vehicles.
Exactly. And it's so funny, you say that, football is a vehicle because, I had, in retrospect, I had to look at it like I wouldn't even be able to do what I'm doing. I wouldn't even be able to have the After Effect podcast and know all these different people from all these different walks of life if it wasn't for football, And so this is my vehicle because I'm passionate about telling stories. I'm passionate about content, things of that nature. So, this is kind of my vehicle, if that makes sense. So it's cool to get those different perspectives, man.
Absolutely. And man, I tell you, bro, I've been looking at your podcast. You talk about, hella people. I'm like, damn, bro.
Man, I know. And so, and what's crazy, bro? Like I'm going to be able to get a lot of NFL guys on, once in the off season, once the season is over. Because their schedules right now are so crazy. But for years, that was another battle that I had in my head. because I will always be trying to, for years, I will always be trying to make sense of like, okay, I know all these NFL guys, whether I play with them in high school, college, or we built a relationship whenever. And I'm like, okay, if we ever in the same city, we kick it, we text. You know, I've been able to stay cool with so many guys, but I was like, man, what can I do that's free? What can I do to cultivate these relationships that's free? I'm not asking anybody for any money. I don't got my hand out. I'm not asking for any handouts, but I could never come up with that until the end of last year. When I was in LA and I came up with the original name, the Arsenal Athlete Show, then I started thinking about, okay, then who could I have on as guests? Like, I made a list and it ended up being like 60 people. And I was like, oh shit, like I'm like, wow, I may have something here. And then then just build it and build it, man. So it's always cool to you know, hear different perspectives like that, man.
Absolutely.
So what would you say is Terrence Pryor's after effect? Right, 20 plus years of athletic experience, the wins, the losses, the injuries, the racism, the nepotism, the playing at a Big Ten university, the playing at a HBCU, through all these years, through your whole journey, what were some lessons that you know, took with you that you will ingratiate, you know, into your future kids, that you ingratiate into your family, that you ingratiate into the next generation as we just essentially try to push the culture forward?
Right. Yeah, I think, I mean, and that's a great question, bro, honestly. I think the biggest lesson I've learned throughout this entire process is that my confidence, the source of my confidence, and I mentioned it to you earlier, the source of my confidence is not myself, because it's finite. It's finite. It's something that can run out. I was so confident when I went to Iowa, right? And then I had a sports hernia, right? And then I was able to keep my confidence after that. And then I broke my foot literally a year. It was like a year to date after that. It put me out for a whole nother season. So 2 of my 4 years at Iowa, or 3 of them,
injuries.
I was injured, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you talk about, I get depressed. And I was sitting in a room, like not coming around the team.
I'm telling you,
confidence was just shot. It was shot.
Yeah.
And just, you know, it took me about 5 to 7 years to just kind of build that confidence back up, but build it up spiritually. And I realized that, man, my confidence that I had in myself is finite. It was finite. Great confidence. I was you couldn't tell me nothing. Any girl I wanted, I went and got them. Any I wanted to do, I went and got it.
Just that confidence.
That confidence.
And most anything that you do, you have to have that. You have to have confidence to succeed. Some of the most successful people, you have to be confident. You have to believe that you can do it.
You got to. And people look at it as cockiness. Like people, oh, he cocky. No, I ain't cocky. I just know who I am. You know what I'm saying? And I love seeing that, especially young dudes. Like, I love it. I'm like, yeah, bro, like use that, like foster that. But I always tell them, you make sure that it's not you where that confidence is coming from. Because like not to say that you're not confident in yourself, but if your sole source of confidence is yourself, when you fail yourself, you're gonna be shocked. You're gonna be like, bro, come on. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the number one thing that I learned is like, yo, my confidence in my Lord and God is infinite. It don't matter. It don't matter what I do. If I fail, I know I still got something behind me that's going push me. You know what I'm saying? No, I got something behind me that I can fall on. And that's infinite to me. Yeah. So that's the number one thing that I would say. And then the number two thing, if I had to say anything, bro, I would say, man, you know, give yourself grace, man. You know, give yourself grace.
That's
bro.
So powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's real, bro. Like you know, you be that killer. Be that killer, the one that's in you. Like the one that's I'm gonna attack it full force, knock it out. Can't nobody stop me. Be that. All of that. Don't let nobody stop you. But if you don't hit it, get yourself grace, bro. You did okay. You had the audacity to try.
You had the audacity to at least try. Yes.
Try that. Like you got the audacity to try that, G. And I mean, I look at this jersey on the back of my at this wall every time I get up, bro. And it brings feelings like, damn, bro. I didn't make it as far as I wanted to go. But then I look back, I'm like, gee, like I'm a you know, some people look at me, and I don't know who they are, but some people look at what I did, Joe, and they like, man, Terrence is a hero.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it's all because I had the audacity to dream. Like I had the audacity to dream.
And to follow those dreams.
To follow follow them, follow them, right? You know, to go at it, right? So that's my thing, bro. Like, man, be that killer. Have that audacity. Do it. If you don't do it, bro, give yourself grace.
And man, again, I just think we think a lot alike in so many ways. Yeah. Giving yourself grace, man, is so essential because I speak that language because I had to learn, and it took me some months, but I had to learn to give myself grace even this year with the pandemic. And I was honest, and I told you about you know, my initial experience with the pandemic, but as I conjured up a second plan on how I needed to move and what I needed to do, I found myself learning to give myself grace, because even if I had to pivot, whether I had to move here, go here, take this job, do this, whatever, to keep my podcast off the ground, just to stay afloat.
Yep.
I had to find grace to give myself, because it's like, for me, it's like I had the audacity to drive 30, however many hours from Atlanta to LA, literally pursuing entertainment. And I was 30. I was 30 years old. And now it's like, when I talk about it now, it's always kind of funny. Like, man, what was I thinking? Why was I so determined? Like, right. But I was willing to do that, and I did that, and I experienced a lot of new experiences and garnered some credits and extended to people that I knew in the industry while I was there. But I had to find that grace to give myself, for, even like you said, even having the audacity to do that. I remember when I told my father that, he was just like, man, what? Like really? Like, are you crazy? Are you insane? And then I got to the point where I was like, man, you know what? I might, maybe I am, maybe I am a little insane, but that's okay.
Cool. That's cool. Right. That's cool. Ain't no problem with that, bro.
Exactly.
And not only that, bro, you know what I'm saying? When you give yourself grace, what you don't understand is that you are laying a foundation for others to build on. Somebody, man, it don't matter if this interview don't reach nobody. I mean, don't reach the amounts of people that we wanted to reach. If somebody hears this and say, bro, and they just that one, because I know this, I know somebody asked me in another interview there, they said, who's your mentor? This, that, and that. I said, man, I don't really have a mentor per se, but I said, I learn from everybody. I learn from everything. I take little nuggets here and there, and I just keep it in my head. And I won't remember where it came from, but I'll know, oh, that's something that's a value of mine. If somebody listens to this and they say, bro, I remember, I don't know what podcast it was. I don't remember who it was. These two dudes was talking, but I remember this one dude said, man, I drove at the age of 30, I drove 30 hours from Atlanta to LA in the pursuit of my dream. And if they remember that and like, damn, G, I can do that too, then all that shit worth it, G. It really is, bro. Exactly. It really is. Obviously, we want to be, and I hate for people to say that they don't, because I don't care who you are. You do. You want some type of form of notoriety. You want some type of form of, yeah, I'm that guy. I did this. Like, yeah, I'm on the stage. I'm famous. I'm big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we want to strive to that, obviously. And not to say that we can't. I think that we can. But if we don't, and one person hears that, here's our story, like, bro did this. Bro walked onto the Iowa football team and became a lawyer after that. You know, I don't know who he was. I can't remember his name, but he did it. You know what I'm saying? And use that. It was all worth it, bro. And that's why you got to give yourself grace, because you're not doing this. You're not doing this for you. You do it for you. You do it for you. But when you look at things in the grand scheme, you're not doing this for yourself. You really doing it for others to use the mistakes that you've made and learn from them, and to use the successes that you've had and try to achieve them. That's what you're doing.
Exactly. And I couldn't agree more, bro. Well, so before we end it, I know you said you had the caveat for therapy. Did you want to did you want to talk about therapy a little bit?
Yeah, man. Cause man, to hear you say, I apologize.
No, you're good.
1 second. To hear you say that, man, you know, I went to therapy. You know what I'm saying? I went to therapy, and I had to do that to help you. You mentioned it. You mentioned it very, very shortly. Yeah. Man, that's so key, bro. Cause you remember when I told you that I was really struggling, like I was trying to figure out, man, you know, man, my team don't respect me. I don't have nobody here. I don't belong. This and that, and I built up this facade that, you know, I can do this all by myself. Like, you know, I was going solely off my energy. But man, it got so bad to me one time, bro, that I went to, I don't know if you remember at Iowa, it was a young lady, it was a lady, she came, it was a white lady, she came, and she was our team therapist. She was like the team therapist or whatnot. I don't know if you remember, but
I don't remember that.
Yeah, she came and she offered, you know how we had those little team meetings. She came and she told everybody, oh, this is who I am. These are the services.
See, I wasn't even paying attention because I should have took my ass.
so you know, at that point in time, I was hurt, and I went to go see her, man. You know, we had we had a couple of different sessions, bro. And it was right at the little student advisory center we used to have, where we used to do studying and whatnot.
The learning center. Yeah.
The learning center, the learning center. So I would go there and talk to her. And man, one time me and her were talking, and I must have said this a lot to her over the time, and I didn't realize what I was saying, but I was like, man, you know, I don't need them. We was talking about football. Like, man, I don't need them. And she stopped me one time. She was like, you don't need who? I'm like, I don't need my teammates. I could do this on my own. Like, I don't need nobody. And she was like, you know what? I think maybe you do. Maybe you do want to be accepted by them. And maybe you do, you know, want to have a relationship with them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And man, it's like a glass wall shattered in front of me. It was like shattered in front of me. I was like, damn, bro. Like I want to be accepted by my teammates. I want to be accepted by my coaches. Like, I want to be accepted. You know what I mean? And man, that helped me tremendously. It helped me so much. It's what helped me begin to heal, right? It's what helped me begin to heal. And I want to say this to everybody that's listening, man. Therapy is, particularly in our culture, we tend to look at therapy as this, oh, I'm crazy.
It's taboo. It's taboo.
Yeah, it's taboo. Like, man, you crazy. Woo, woo. Man, therapy is one of the greatest things that you can do to grow, man.
I'm telling you, to become to become your next superior self, you have to go to therapy.
You got to go to therapy. And I'll put it to you like this. My mama put it to me the best way I had ever heard it before. My mother said this. She was like, we all look at therapy like it's just a bad thing. And I was like, yeah, we do, because it's taboo, like you said. She said, when you have a scar, you go to the doctor. She said, when on your physical body, you go to the doctor. When you need surgery on something,
you got to do the same thing for your mental, for your brain.
Yeah, she said having something on your mind or something, that she has nothing but a scar on your brain. It's just a scar on your brain. And she said, all you got to do is go to the doctor and just get it to make sure it heals right.
Exactly.
And I was like,
yeah, bro, she hit it on the head. You understand? Because you know how we grew up. No one ever talked about therapy. Therapy wasn't, like you said, it was always, no, you gonna get through it, chest out, no feelings, just always hard. You know what I mean? So we didn't grow up like that. But you know, it's crazy, man. I found therapy. I feel like I was almost forced into therapy, because I think I was probably like 28 or 27, and I randomly had a breakdown. Like I had a real breakdown, bro. Like, it was a combination of things, but it literally just took over my mind. Like I started thinking about some things that I went through in my childhood, and I started thinking about some things that I went through in my teenagehood. Then I started thinking about some of the things I went through in college, as far as the racism and being essentially just verbally abused every day for years. And all of that raveled into my brain. For some reason, it was like a Saturday. It was a normal Saturday. And bro, when I say this was the first time this ever happened. When I say I started crying, like when I say I started uncontrollably crying, like weeping, like to the point where I almost couldn't breathe. Like I fell off the couch. I was sitting on the couch and I fell off the couch, like uncontrollably weeping, bro, for like 10 minutes. Like, and then I remember calling my sister, my twin, because I got a twin sister. And I remember calling her or FaceTiming her, like, hey, like, this just happened. And I don't know, like, I was trying to catch my breath, but I couldn't, like, but I tried to sit back up on the couch and I FaceTimed her, because, you know, we're really, really close. And she kind of just started saying a bunch of stuff to me, like, to, like, kind of bring me back and calm me down. But then that's when I was like, okay, like I said, I was kind of forced into it. I was saying, like, I need to go talk to somebody. Like, something isn't right. Like, because and I started thinking about all these different things that I was thinking about. I hadn't dealt with any of them. I hadn't talked about any of them. And it's crazy. I tell people all the time, if you don't deal with that stuff, it will resurface some way. It will come back. It will come back out in some way, whether it's violence, whether it's aggression, or whether it's just having a breakdown like I did. Like, and that's what ultimately got me into it. And it's crazy. I found out about like an EAP program through my job where, you know, you get your first few sessions free. And so I went through that and I got randomly matched up. When I tell you God was with me, bro, like I ended up meeting a lady named Brenda. She was a mixed lady. She had a black dad and a white mom. When I tell you she was from Dubuque, Iowa, bro. Grew up a die-hard Hawkeye fan and was literally a therapist, an older lady, literally been a therapist for 30 years in the Atlanta area, bro. Like, when I say I got messed up, and I couldn't believe it, bro. I just sat there for like 5 minutes, like, okay, this is, I'm supposed to be here. Like, I'm supposed to, like it confirmed for me that I was taking the right steps. Like, and then, and you know, and that was a couple years ago, and we're actually about to restart our sessions, 2021. But yeah, it was crazy. Like having those breakdowns, it's almost like a thing where like you can't even explain it. But then, so also being a black man, do you really want to explain it, or like do you have the courage to explain it to somebody? Or because some people may not. Most people probably don't speak that language, so they can't even relate to what you're talking about. You know what I mean? And so through transparency for me and through reading a bunch of books and really understanding why I am the way that I am and how I could become a better person, brother, son, man, like it's working through those things. Like, and so that was like a really like an outer body experience for me. And I just was like, okay, yeah, I need to do something here because something ain't right. Because I had never had nothing like that. But I think I kept everything so bottled up and never was able to release it really like freely to someone that really doesn't know me or I know that won't judge me. And that's why therapy is so good, because whatever you're telling your therapist, they're not judging you. They have education on what you need to do, what skills you may need to implement to better improve yourself. And that's why I think it's so important.
Man, man, it's so, first and foremost, let me tell you this, bro. I'm sincerely, bro, happy and proud, you know, that of you to be able to have that conversation. And not proud of you like, oh, that's my son. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
proud,
yeah.
Just proud is like, man, you my bro, right? Like you my bro. We grew up, we had our differences, and we were both mature, because it takes two people to be mature enough to say, bro, you know, we felt this way about about each other at one point in time, and now now we've been able to work that out. And so I'm just sincerely proud that you're even doing this, and that you had the audacity again to tell people that, right? That's huge, bro, and in particular for us, man.
And I'm not gonna hold you. This is episode 38, and this is actually the first time I've even spoken about it. Like, so it just took me.
I'm a first.
Yeah. But I had to get comfortable, kind of easing my way into it, and I had to get comfortable. And in a lot of ways, acting has helped me, and it's actually made me revisit some things, because depending on the role, you know, sometimes you have to tap into different things, and to tap into that, you have to think about something that may have happened or something that had you on edge. And that's when I really started to realize, like, some of the things that I had to think about, I didn't want to think about. Like, I ran from, I ran from, if that makes sense. So
I tell you this, bro, you should do because and this is just interesting to me, when people talk about how actors have to tap into these different emotions and stuff like that. You know, you should do like this off, and this is just me giving you, my I think it's a good idea. You should maybe do an offset episode where you talk about what actors have to go through to do that, right? Because it's a lot of, you hear a lot of things like Heath Ledger, who after he played his greatest role of The Dark Knight, he passed away and it took his life. And sometimes I wonder, is it because he had to tap into this
a dark side that he wasn't, that he hadn't healed from, or
exactly, and he had to resurface it. So I mean, that to me, I would be interested in hearing that if you decided to do that. I'll be interested in hearing that. But man, just and I'm glad, bro. I'm glad that, you know, we can talk and have that conversation, because in particular for African Americans in general, African American men and women in general, right? Mm-hmm. But African American men, we've been taught so long to bottle these things up, and it's
emotions,
it's gonna resurface, like you said, one way or another.
One way or another. Yep.
So for anyone who's listening, man, you're listening to two what some might call hypermasculine males. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, former Division I college athletes. One went on to play professional level. One went on to play at both the D1 and D2 level. And bro, we sitting up here telling you, man, the greatest thing that, because we've talked about how we've cried, right? Like we've cried to ourselves, cried to others, and we've talked about how we've completely made ourselves vulnerable to strangers in our therapist, right? You know what I'm saying? And bro, it's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And in fact, like you said, LeBron, in order to excel to that next level in life,
you got to peel those layers back. You got to unpack it.
And you know what it reminds me of? I remember one time me and you was at training table, and you said something about Jay-Z. And I was like, man, I don't rock with Jay-Z or something like that. And you was like, bro, what? You don't rock with Jay-Z? You remember that conversation?
I think so.
Yeah, you was like, bro, how you not rock with Hov? And I was just, you know, younger at that time. But man, ever since then, I have been listening to Jay-Z. And the older I get, the more I realize, like, bro is like,
so many jewels, bro.
So many jewels. And one of those jewels he said, man, you got to keep going. Life's all about progression. That's what he said. You got to keep going. Life's all about progression.
Never quit.
I believe by that. That's my mantra. And in order for us to progress, you gotta shed. You gotta shed to grow.
You have to.
You gotta shed the mental issues that may be bothering you, that you don't even know, that you suppress so much, that may surface one point in time. Share them so that you can grow to that next level in life, bro. Because can't nothing stop you.
I'm telling you. I couldn't agree with you more, bro. To be honest, and I thought this may have been the best episode yet, just through the realness and the transparency, bro. It's been amazing. And before we get offline, something that I've been trying to pride myself on, 2020 has been the weirdest year since we've been alive on Earth. We both know that. So I've been trying to pride myself on giving guys their flowers while they're still here, man. So I want to tell you, face up, man to man, black man and black man, all your accomplishments, all your accolades, everything you've accomplished, bro. I'm super, super proud of you. And I want to tell you that face up and give you those flowers, from walking on to Iowa to doing your thing at Clark Atlanta, to getting a master's there, to working in IT, to learning tech and learning law, to just obviously a couple of days ago, graduating from law school. I want to give you your flowers while you're still here, and you putting the battery in my back to continue to evolve, continue to chase whatever it is I want to do, and I just want to give you that love, man, while we both still here.
Yeah, I genuinely and truly, bro, appreciate that, man. And that's not just not because that's what I'm supposed to say. I genuinely and truly appreciate that, because like I told you in the beginning, man, or somewhere before, you never understand or you never know how what you do inspires someone else, right? And it's just ironic to me that part of what inspired me to do all of the things that you just gave me accolades for was you, right? You know,
that's wild, bro. That's crazy.
And that's real, like, you know what I'm saying? So part of those things, you know, part of what you do is always inspired by somebody else. And I'm actually gonna do a video on this, man. How you your inspirations, what you inspire people to do, should in turn inspire you, right? It should never. That's a reciprocal thing. Like that's
very reciprocal.
Never be. I inspire this person. Good thing I helped you out. Now go on and inspire somebody else. If I inspired you in any form or fashion, in any way, that inspired me to keep doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And inspiration is reciprocal, man. So
exactly.
Man, genuinely, thank you, LeBron. I really do, man, and vice versa, bro. I've genuinely enjoyed our relationship growing to where it is now, and I've genuinely enjoyed seeing you become the person that you want to be, bro. Like no unapologetically, bro. I genuinely enjoy it, but I would sometimes I'm like, damn, bro, what you doing this for? What you doing that for, man? But you genuinely just you, bro, and can't nobody take that from you. And I honestly Respect and thank you for that.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I receive all that, and yeah, man. I'm actually I want to plant this seed. Sometime next year, probably like before the summer. I want to do something like this, but I want to do it like round table style, where I think because I know like I got you, and I know like 4 or 5 other former athletes who are doing different things. One's an actor, one's an architect. We got you as a lawyer and in tech as well. But I want to do a round table where we all get together at a round table and we discuss current events. We discuss certain issues. We discuss some good moments that we had, some bad moments. I think that when we get several voices in one room with different stories, I think that'll elevate, just obviously the content in general, but it will just elevate what people can absorb, what people can receive, whether they're listening or watching and things like that. So I want to plant that seed that I'm definitely looking to do that. I just got to find a space. I already got like a cinematographer and all that, so I just got to find a space here in Atlanta, and I just want to plant that seed. That's definitely something that I want to do.
I'm here, bro. Let me know, bro. Whenever you're ready, just drop. I'm ready.
Definitely. All right, bro. Happy Sunday, man. I appreciate you carving out the time, and we'll be in touch, man.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Take it easy. Well, again, guys, I thought that was a extremely powerful episode 38 with Terence Pryor. Obviously, if you listen to the whole episode, you can kind of see and tell his story. What an amazing story he has. Also, I thought I was abnormally kind of honest. I mean, I didn't give any details about the breakdown, just anything from my childhood. But I think I'll get to the point where I'm ready to share. So yeah, if you've listened on your podcast app, please rate us. I noticed that we only have like I think 3 or 4 ratings right now. So if you can rate us, that would be amazing. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Because we've been releasing 2 episodes per week for the last 6 months, and we plan to continue. Almost at 40 episodes, just continuing to learn and grow in the podcast space. Like I said on episode 37, our t-shirts and hats are almost done out of production. Thank you for being patient with us, but those will be ready to be purchased here soon. So again, I appreciate all the support as we end 2020. Until next time, peace.